And I am eternally grateful to my spiritual father, Kinish Hana Bakal. I am here to do your work, and I thank you for your continued energetic blessings. Greetings, dear soul. I am Crispy, a Gaian, Mayan, Pleiadian emissary of light. Een Lak'esh Alakin. I am another you, you are another me. We are one God-sciousness. And today I had the pleasure of interviewing Ms. Yssah Azarte Libyen. And the main purpose of that was to teach her Mayan embodiment astrology. Now, what I teach is the same system that's over 5,135 years old. Other astrologers call it the Mayan destiny path. Some call it the Mayan cross. What I teach is the same. However, what happened to me was during meditation, I received this download of myself standing on my Mayan birthday. My right hand was being tightly gripped by my divine masculine guide, and my left hand was open, into which the open left hand of my divine feminine guide was placed. So, what I teach people is their divine feminine and divine masculine powers and how to harmonize them in the heart. Also included in that is harmonizing the past and the future and bringing it all into the center, into the ever-present now. Now, one of the fascinating things about Yssah is that besides herself being a polymath, a brilliant mind capable of understanding the intricacies of any system she puts her mind to, she has the exact same Mayan birthday as her friend and colleague, Nassim Haramein, who you probably know does the exact same thing. It's fascinating. Now, the two of them also have the exact same Mayan birthday as Carolyn Mace, who in her own way can see into the cartography of your soul with the exact same precision. Yssah is also a colleague of Freddie Silva, who you probably know has done some incredible documentaries in his life. Most recently, I believe, one about the Maya, which I greatly enjoyed. And what I suggest you do now is press pause and go get yourself a mug of cacao, and then press play and enjoy the next 2 hours with an open heart and an open mind. So, hello, Yssah.
Hi, Chris.
Een Lak'esh Alakin. And what I always do with these Zoom meetings with my clients is start with a little ceremony. So I am going to do that now, okay?
Okay.
I need to open the window because I'm going to burn some sage.
Okay.
There we go. Right. So, by lighting this candle, I am entering ceremony. always keep my candles on this amazing rock I found one day down at the river. It's absolutely perfect for this.
Yes, it's beautiful.
Yeah. There we go.
Mm.
This is my white sage from Vancouver. Been burning it for quite some time. So by burning this sage, I'm giving thanks to Mother Nature, to Goddess Sophia Gaia, the mother of all life on earth, and all of the red glyphs of the Mayan Tzolk'in calendar. Thank you, Imish. Thank you, Chikchan. Thank you, Muluk. Thank you, Ben. And thank you, Kaban.
Mm.
We thank you for your sunrise, your springtime, your element of earth and our physical bodies. We receive your energies. We give them to Gaia, and Gaia gives them back to you. By waving this eagle feather, I am giving thanks to all of the white glyphs of the Mayan Tzolk'in calendar. Thank you, Eek. Thank you, Kimi. Thank you, Oak. Thank you, Ish. And thank you, Atsnab. We thank you for your midnight, your winter, your element of air, and our spiritual bodies. We receive your energies. We give them to Gaia, and Gaia gives them back to you. By touching this sacred water, I am giving thanks to all of the blue glyphs of the Mayan calendar. Thank you, Akbal. Thank you, Manik. Thank you, Chuen. Thank you, Men. And thank you, Kawak. We thank you for your sunsets and your autumn and your element of water and our emotional bodies. We receive your energies, we give them to Gaia, and Gaia gives them back to you. By touching this flame, I'm giving thanks to the yellow glyphs of the Mayan Tzolk'in calendar. Thank you, Khan. Thank you, Lamat. Thank you, Eb. Thank you, Kib. And thank you, Ahau. We thank you for your noon, your summer, your element of fire, and our thinking bodies. We receive your energies. We give them to Gaia, and Gaia gives them back to you. Today, I'm also giving thanks to the 13 tones of the Mayan Tzolk'in calendar. Thank you, Hun, Ka, Osh, Kan, Ho, Wak, Uk, Vajak, Bolon, Lahun, Hun, Lahun, Ka, Lahun, Osh, Lahun. Today, I'm giving thanks to the goddess Ixchel and all of the female deities of the Mayan calendar. I'm giving thanks to Itzamna and all of the male deities of the Mayan calendar. I'm giving thanks to the 9 lords of Xibalba, the 9 lords of the night, the 9 lords of the underworld, the 9 lords of death. Today, I'm also giving special thanks to my spiritual father, Kinish Hanab Pakal, King of Palenque. And I'm giving thanks to the Tzolk'in itself, and the Hunab Ku, the one and only giver of movement and measure, the great central sun and black hole at the epicenter of the omniverse. I'm here today to open my heart and soul to Yssah and share with her the Mayan information from our elders and from everyone I have just named. And Yssah, if there's someone or something or any energies you would wish to bring into this opening ceremony, please do so now.
Pakal, Nichhana Pakal, Lady Shuk, Lady Olnal, Ish. Ish olnal, ishik olnal, ish, ishik, shok, ishik, shuk. Xiuhuacotl, ishkukulkan. Ish, star, ish. Bueno, thank you.
Beautiful. All right, so the ceremony is officially open. So, what I normally do is put one of your pictures that I created for you. I usually use the one with the Da Vinci sort of looking pose. And with Zoom here, I can put that on the screen so we can see that. And then we can go through it and talk about your Mayan embodiment astrology. Okay?
Sure, thank you.
All right, so sharing my screen. Zoom goes down. Facebook, goodbye. And here we are. Okay, I think I need to open this. Oh yeah, you were there too. Good. So here's your full Mayan embodiment. I think if I put that full screen, yeah, you and I are still there. I'll put us up like that. Okay, so this is the image I created for you that contains all of your coding. Of course, your core self is tone 1, Hum, and your glyph is Kimi. And a lot of the Mayan traditional day keepers just tell people it's translated as death. And I'm fine with that. That is part of it. But really, you know, the Maya have always believed in reincarnation. And so to them, death literally means reincarnation, not just simply death like in the Western world. So I translate it as reincarnation. Most of my clients are English first language. Most of them live in North America or other English, very Western countries. So, and tone 1, I call initiating. So for you, initiating reincarnation is your Mayan embodiment name. Now, does that give you, just hearing that, does that conjure up anything for you?
Definitely. The way that I create is this two sides of conception of what transformation is.
Okay.
It can be traduced into death and reincarnation.
Right.
Has been very present, you know.
Sure.
Yes, the potential energy fully exposure, as well as the full blossoming of those seeds coming alive after. Yes, those sides, definitely.
Now, can I ask, what culture were you raised in?
I was raised in Mexico,
Okay.
as I call it.
Sure.
Yet my cultural heritage is very related to the Arabic culture,
Right.
as my grandfather was Lebanese,
Okay.
and we would keep all the traditions.
Okay.
So,
And
yeah.
you have been to Egypt. You've been to the pyramids there, right?
Yes, I've lived in the pyramids, actually. In the backyard of the pyramids, I've had the blessing to find the places that I have nested
Right.
throughout my stays in Egypt are in the backyard of the Giza Plateau.
Fantastic.
And last one was in Luxor, in the backyard of the Jebel al-Ahmar, which is the Red Mountain,
Okay.
that huge stargate, that huge portal
Right.
where all the ancient kings and queens were encapsulated for
Wow.
the afterlife. So pretty connected to the reincarnation.
Right. Yeah. Well, it's a special glyph. I mean, they all are. Every day on the Tzolk'in is special, certainly. But I think it's safe to say that some carry more intensity, as it were. And one of the things I tell my clients about tone one, everyone who's born on a tone one has this go kind of energy, because you people are the starters of the whole 13-day cycle. So it's like you have to push the energy all the way up to the top of the pyramid. From there, it carries on its own energy in a way. Although every one of the 12 people born after you on your wave flow, as I call it, carries part of your energy, part of your teaching. So everyone who's a tone one person, I say it's like a mini big bang. They have to just get the energy going. And they're natural teachers. Everyone, the 12 days after you, carries some of your energy of the message of reincarnation. So all tone one day is quite powerful. And then, of course, the whole lesson of reincarnation really needs to come back into the global mind. I mean, it's been there in many cultures, but it was destroyed. It was completely taken out of the Western meaning, Catholic, Christian, religious perspective. So it's a powerful day.
Thank you. Yes, I feel it that way. Do you describe it like the Big Bang? I also see it like the black hole. You know?
Okay, right. Yeah.
Yes.
The polarity, the opposite of the Big Bang, and the attractor that's pulling everything back. Cool. Yeah. So one of the things I always do for my clients is combine a word or phrase from your key code words from the tone and a word or phrase from the key code words from the glyph. And I put those together to illustrate the weaving of energies, how the glyph and tone go together.
Okay.
And, those phrases for you are down here. Intentional transformation, divine creator mystery, unity with ancestors, and unconditional trust in Shibao Ba. How do those feel for you?
As well, quite accurate.
Okay.
Because yes, yes, all of those very present in my form of creation. For instance, the Shivalva, I would relate it to the Duat for the
Okay.
Egyptians,
Okay. Right.
and everything that is related to the Duat and the Shivalva and the Holofaminti, and
Right.
so it's the nine lords.
Right.
It's energy that I feel very comfortable with, because I believe and I feel and I've experienced that the more you are aligned and more than not only aligned, tuned into those frequencies,
Sure.
one is capable to handle the rest of the energy,
Right.
because as you said, the rest of the energy carries some of the codes of that.
Does.
And in order to master that energy, there is a lot of humbleness involved, a lot of compromise involved, so a lot of heart involved.
Well, that's partly what I call unconditional trust. That means living without fear or doubt or worry that, oh no, something's going wrong. And, there's always been this massive fear injected into us, mainly, again, through Western culture, about death and about Shivalba or the underworld, or, what is very incorrectly translated as hell. The Maya never considered Shivalba to be hell. A lot of Western people translated that.
Exactly.
So having that trust of going into the unknown, I think, is part of your core self quality. So one of the cool things about the whole Mayan, you could call it the Mayan cross. Basically, that's what I teach, although with this different format. The way that your guides, the energy of the guides, everyone who's born on tone 1 has the same tones for their past wisdom, divine feminine, divine masculine, and future vision. And as you can see here, that's tone 6, 7, 8, 9. So that's always the order I teach them in. And I think there has to be some sort of inner wisdom in learning about your guides in that order, your past, and then going from the right hand side, which is your masculine, to the divine feminine, and then going across your heart chakra to your divine masculine, and then going back over to the feminine side, which is your future vision guide. So I always teach them in that order. So for you, that's 6, 7, 8, 9 are the tones. And as you can see, your past wisdom guide is 6, and it's the glyph called Etznab, or Tihash in the Guatemalan pronunciation. And I think the best translation, it's a little bit long, but obsidian, I feel, needs to be there. And also the mirror and the knife. It's both of those. It's the obsidian mirror, the obsidian knife. The Maya used obsidian for both of those purposes. Potentially shamanic, of course, with the mirror. I believe they did a type of what in the Western world we call scrying, or, it's a little bit like a crystal ball, but you would sort of relax your focus and maybe use some incense and look into the mirror and then receive a vision. And then, of course, the knife. The Maya made their knives and their arrowheads. They used arrowheads, and also for the blowgun, they would put obsidian on the tips, and they had warrior clubs. So there's the seer energy here of your past wisdom guide, so the inner vision, and also that knife, which can be used in various ways. And so the 3 phrases I came up with for you here: practical precision, astute synchronicity, and balanced family eloquence. Is there anything coming up for you with those phrases?
Yes. How? Yes, they do. And how, for instance, practical precision. It is indeed an opportunity for me to keep on listening to, because this is coming more and more often. In the beginning, I would tend to create in a very like bringing all the information and moving and moving and moving and moving, and then getting to the point. And
Okay.
somehow I still do it when for instance, when I speak. However, it has been translated, and I've learned that it's also part of the melodic frequency of how I labor, how I do my labor.
Okay.
Hence, when it comes to daily life, to daily life basis, then this is coming more and more precise.
Okay.
This and the astute synchronicity, it's like it is a very constant asset in my creation.
Oh,
Like it has a huge presence in. I can see when the synchronicity is,
yes.
and so a lot of
Is-
trust, a lot of humbleness in order to keep, not only to achieve it, because how I believe it, how I perceive it, very easy. It's we all achieve.
Okay.
What it also comes about to me is to nourish, to
Sure.
keep on nourishing constantly
Okay.
that as synchronicity, like in a everyday daily life basis, like every day. And balanced family eloquence, yes, as well. Hmm. The importance, sometimes when it comes to this path, I believe that at some point it was created, the idea was generated that that family is opposite to fulfilling your life mission.
Okay. Right. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. That is part. I understand that. It holds you back in a way.
Yes.
Right.
Nevertheless, sorry.
Which I disagree with completely. Yeah.
Exactly. Nevertheless, when I recall all the most transcendental moments in my life so far are connected, for instance, with my daughter.
Right.
As when I gave birth to her,
Right.
it was a full awakening for me. Yes, a
Uh,
full awakening. My life shifted
right.
uh 360 degrees,
Right.
and also, in between all that form of relating to the rest of my family,
Right.
what at the moment seemed like stopping my way, actually it was enabling it.
Interesting.
It was enabling it all the time. And this, talking about the family that I have in this lifetime.
Right.
And yes, they have been always really connected to nourish and support my mission.
Right.
Yes.
Well, as soon as I saw tone 6 there in your past wisdom, tone 6 is extremely connected to the family, and there are 6 qualities that the Maya associate with a healthy family. I think I wrote them in your document that I gave you, but I'll just quickly run over them again here. So health is number 1 important facet. Understanding, so that would mean communication from both sides. Work or employment, basically having the financial stability. Friendship, and that's, between parent and child, between grandparents, and then friends that are outside of the family as well. So supporting the friendships that your daughter may develop. property or possessions, which could be like something you hold precious, maybe a drum, or it could be your daughter's little stuffed animal, like those things need to be honored. And then the last one is pretty large, but positive and negative actions, which in a way could be summed up as karma. So there's a lot just with tone 6. And I have a sort of unique expression with tone 6 is showing the dot underneath instead of on top, because I really feel that to be aware of this sort of, I think it's called the rollabola, is the circus toy, not necessarily circus, lots of kids have them, but just that balance has to be there, and which also means flexibility. So it's not like this rigid stability, it's constantly flowing. Flexibility needs to be there. And it sounds like you did have a flexible childhood or, upbringing.
Yes, in some, like everyone, in some aspects,
Sure.
indeed. It was, as I was saying, it was enabling the fact that I could develop on my own due to some circumstances.
Yeah.
The capability and the will to ignite that inner fire, that inspiration, that muse.
Yeah.
In the end, after all, because in the beginning it was kind of showing the other side, so that
for sure,
and
many of us,
yet,
myself included, not the happy, supportive childhood. No, I didn't have that. We have to go back and reparent, I think that's the term, is and healing the inner child and filling in the gaps. And that's something I think everyone has to do to some degree or another.
Exactly. Yes. And as I was telling you before, in the beginning, I found out that what I was, not all of it, but what I was fighting for was things that at some point would have led me to another path.
Yes, right. The rebellious stage that if you stayed on that path, yeah, right.
Exactly.
Too.
And another thing, that doing that correlation, when you're talking about balancing obsidian, mirror, and knife,
mirror, knife, yes.
Something very peculiar and very characteristic about some of my family is the sharpness with the word. What they say tends to
cut,
influence a lot
yeah, right.
the reality. So when it comes from like a deep emotion, then it can turn into as you were saying, it depends how you use it. The thing is that what I want to point out, when you do it with the heart, the difference in between the knife and the mirror is that the capability of the mirror is to doing that introspection where whatever you're going to say, you're saying it to yourself.
Right. Yeah. Everyone is your mirror. Sure. Maybe more so with your daughter than other people, but in your childhood, as we're growing up. Did you have siblings? Do you have brothers or sisters?
I have one. I have a brother, an older brother.
Okay. Right. So there's always some mirroring, some degree of mirroring with siblings. I've got 2 brothers and a sister, And of course, there's some mirroring, and we mirror our parents back to them and they to us. And it gets pretty complicated in there.
It's like going to the mirror house, you know, where the mirrors are painted, you know, like wait.
Yeah. Oh,
You look small.
but yeah, you can get lost in there. That's true.
Yes, but and also now that I do the relation, is like the correlation is like you see yourself, or I can see myself distorted, you know, but it's
Right.
myself.
Mhm.
However, I look much bigger, I look much shorter, or you know, and that's how the family goes. Maybe it's not a literal reflection.
Mm.
However, it's showing to you an extension of yourself
Sure.
uh, that is influenced by a program
Right.
that your family is presenting. So yes.
Well, I do believe very much that we choose our parents. Before we're born, our soul looks at all the possibilities. And a lot of people say that we have a future life review of things that are possible if we choose those parents.
Hmm?
I love that idea. I also do believe that when we leave this body, we have the past life review, maybe with the same guides as we had the pre-life review. I don't know these things. They're just lovely ideas. But I do strongly believe we choose our parents for the challenges we know we're going to get, because we are here to improve, to evolve, to transcend. And what we are transcending is the ego, the small self, the separate, the concept of being separate. And to overcome that, we needed these specific things in our childhood primarily. Much of our trauma, almost all of it, comes from childhood, I feel. So yeah, the sharp tongue, whew, the cutting knife.
Yes.
But
Uh,
we need that to be
it,
strong.
it is that very present, for instance, in people that is related to the shaman, like this
I think
characteristic.
I think more so, and the shaman is in your chart, and we will talk about that. I think the shaman may be more than any other glyph, although it's also true with your right hand man, very much Ahau and Ish are possibly the two most connected to the ancestors and to the other side, other than you being Emi being reincarnation, which is a direct connection to the other side. So you've got the ancestors and the other side so deeply woven into your chart here. Um, I'm not. I don't really know for sure. There's a lot of mystery about the Maya because, as you know, most of their books were burned and destroyed, and like so many priests and priestesses and shaman and kings and queens were tortured and murdered even for practicing their own religion, that there's a lot of their beliefs went underground, and then they were forced to take on Catholicism and Christianity and all of their Christian um, holidays and deities and everything. So it's so confusing now. I don't think it's possible to say exactly what the Maya believe as, pre-Hispanic, certainly. And also the region. It was a 6,000 kilometer or 7,000 kilometer wide area. So there was different beliefs in different areas. So much of what I'm talking about with you is a modern interpretation, and part of that I've reflected here, with the law of one and Pleiadian information, because I think that's where we're at now. We have to incorporate other wisdom sources. I'm telling you what I can from the Maya, but I also include other information, obviously.
Yes. You were mentioning that, well, like all this information, even the law of one you were showing, right? That which is quite connected to Akhenaten.
Okay.
And
Of course. I mean, it's called the raw material. Yeah.
and actually Akhenaten is a word that was also used by the Mayans.
Okay.
And but
So
it's more
is
like
connected, is that right? Lake
Akhenaten.
Atitlan.
Like what?
Lago Atitlan is.
Yes,
Hmm.
like yes, definitely. But what I'm talking about here about Akhenaten is more like Akhnatun, which
Oh,
is the mountain of the mother turtle.
okay. I don't know that word. I'm not familiar with it. Your research far surpasses mine in many areas.
That thank you. Well, this is just information that comes from like at some point I listen to it or somebody tells this to me. Um, for instance, the other day while we were having the talk with Freddie, he mentioned this about the word with Ahnaten, and then I did the connection about it wouldn't be literally Ajenaten or
Right.
Ajenaton. So
Okay.
then I did find the words that would in frequency relate, and it's Aknahtun.
Okay. Of course.
So and and this relates to Orion, but then again, for me, Pakal is
Yes.
quite connected to Ajenaten.
Right.
I feel the frequency. I have you seen a photo of Akhenaten?
I may have, but I don't have it. It's not popping up right now.
I will send one to you because for me the even one like Pakal,
Right.
um like the solar disk or the solar shield. The
Yes.
solar field, exactly. And Akhenaten would be related to the Aten, which is the translated as the solar disk. However, that's not an accurate translation. Aten is orb, so but it's the sun.
Sure, sure.
And their personal life, this we talk about. It's very similar.
The
So
childhood, they
yes,
were
exactly,
um,
exactly.
made kings at age 12. Is that true?
I don't know the exact age of Akhenaten and Tutankhaton. Tutankhaton was at
Eight.
8 years old.
And he was
Yes,
the son of Akhenaten. Is that
exactly,
okay? Yeah.
exactly.
Don't know my Egyptian history at all. I'm very focused on.
Yes, on the Mayans, of course, because then again, focus. Yes, it's great, but each one of us have our own mission, and for
Oh,
me, it's
I
to
love what you're
center.
doing. I love the combination of the Egyptian and the Mayan. I just think what you're doing is so brilliant. It's you know, I like the phrase the thin edge of the wedge. You're bringing this wedge in to open up this whole area of wisdom, and yeah, I'm excited for you
Thank you.
doing
Thank
um,
you. Thank you.
in October. It's going to be,
Yes.
oh boy. I wish I could be there with you guys.
Uh, that's
Let's
awesome.
move on. Let's go from your past wisdom
Okay.
guide, tone
Okay.
down to tone 7, and the glyph is the traveler. It's eb or e in Guatemalan pronunciation. Tone 7 is the top of the pyramid. So that's why the purple color for the crown chakra. And yeah, it's also reflecting because both sides are reflected in the middle. And 7 is the central column. So the 7th column here, the term reflecting, I think is the best translation for what tone 7 means. And then traveler, I also think is the best translation. Some people call it road. Some people call it grass or path. And I just, the glyph is obviously a human face. So I think road, path, grass, I think traveler is the best. So your divine feminine side, I can tell you, is a reflecting traveler. Now, I did want to mention, of course, you being a white glyph and your past and future are white, but your male and female are yellow. And yellow is the fire, the element of fire, summer, noon, and the thinking body. And I do know you do a lot of thinking. And so that's very natural for you. Both male, your inner divine feminine and divine masculine are fiery and a lot of thinking going on. So the phrases I came up with for you: top of the pyramid, way shower. I love that. Meditation, pilgrimage, and Pleiadian destiny. So interesting. A lot of phrases I created for you. They've never come to me before for other people. So how does that feel for you, having a fiery top of the pyramid traveler as your divine feminine guide? How does that feel?
Well, then again, quite I can see myself. I can see my feminine there.
Right.
I've always have the fire quite present in me, and it's very funny because according to the normal zodiac
Right.
wheel,
Yeah.
I am Aries,
Okay.
and according to the sidereal
Yeah.
zodiac's wheel, I am a Pisces.
Okay.
So I have here, and now with my Mayan embodiment chart, I have a white one, which is related to the wind, right?
Where's the wind? Well, the
For
white.
instance, the white for the
Yeah.
white
White is the element of air. Yes.
air.
And the spiritual body, very more these are the people who, all of the white glyphs, it's the spiritual body, it's the air element. Communication is so purely natural, flowing, and they don't like boxes or containment. They just have to be able to move everywhere. Fire, as you know, needs something upon which to burn. It needs the wood or the paper or whatever. Yeah, I love this combination for you. I think, and soon we're going to talk about your Pakal masculine. So how does this balance this reflecting traveler? How does that balance the Pakal energy for you?
Well, for me, the fact that both are fire, both are yellow. I love yellow, and for me, the fire element can develop a lot the wisdom within, because it's like the sun. I usually say the sun doesn't have to say every planet or every star, hey, I'm the sun, I'm the sun. The sun is just the sun. However, the sun can give life and can also like heal.
Yeah.
It depends on the scale.
Yep.
So tuning into my fire with my feminine, because I tend to be very passionate.
Okay.
I'm full, I'm passion, you know. And when it comes to traveling, and when it comes to like, for instance, when you say top of the pyramid, way
Shower.
shower,
Way shower. Showing the way to other people.
way shower.
Yeah. Show the way.
Funny.
It's
So funny.
connected to
We
travel.
showered. You're showering the other ones with with their ways, you know.
You're standing up there on the top of the pyramid. Hey, everybody, this way. Come over here. That's what you're doing, and that's your inner feminine that's doing that. Now, a lot of people, their divine feminine could be a blue glyph that's emotional, and it could be one that's more related to the home or whatever, but your inner feminine is on fire and standing at the top of the pyramid and going, come on. I think that's very cool.
It is, because as you said, the feminine normally is related to the like, not the hidden yet, the private one, you know, like going very
Yeah, some people need
inside. Yes,
you
it's
don't.
beautiful. It is me, actually. This is me, because yes, I love it. Thank you. And I also love the phrases, meditation pilgrimage, like top of the pyramid, way shower. I love it as well.
Yeah.
Pleiadian destiny. It's very interesting because Pleiades have been showing lately a lot.
Okay.
And for me, it was before, like a huge connection with Orion and Sirius.
Right.
And but now that, yes, like every time when I was so focused in all the ancient knowledge,
Yeah.
the Mayan wisdom wouldn't even appear in my field, you know, like I was okay, I love being Mexican, but it's okay, like it's okay.
Right.
And now that I'm here at this moment, I've been because I've been acknowledging, and not only acknowledging, I've been becoming aware that all the information that I have translated, like 99.999%,
Yeah.
is reflecting all the Mayan wisdom as well, because then again, everything is connected, but very precise things.
Okay.
And one of those things is the Pleiadian information, because I've always mentioned the
Ooh,
blue sun or the water sun.
okay. Interesting.
And I recognize that as Alcyon.
Sion. Sure. Fantastic. Well, again, with the history that the Maya have had in the last 500 years, there's a lot of uncertainty, but I do believe many of the Maya say that their wisdom, and in particular, this calendar, came from the Pleiades. They do say that 4 men and 4 women came from the Pleiades and taught them how to use the calendar, how to grow corn, how to build pyramids, and how to structure their society. And I believe it.
You know, I was tuning into one of the depictions in the solar cross temple in Palenque,
Okay,
La
yes,
Canja,
yes, yes.
and they say that in the glyphs
Right,
that Pakal Son, which is Kinich Chan Balam,
right.
uh, was would take the information, go to the stars, do, undo, and then come back.
Wow.
It says in the glyphs.
Right. I think I recall reading about that. Now, a lot of what they were doing was in ceremony. And I do believe they were using mushrooms, magic mushrooms. And you must know about the blood-letting ceremonies they did. They were piercing their own skin with obsidian, or these fish bones, and they were bleeding onto the special thin bark paper, and then they would burn that paper and the smoke would come up and they would just go into the smoke and into the other realms and receive information from the elders and from star beings, I believe. So
yes,
Cal probably did that 100 times, and I know he did that publicly many, many times in ceremony. And his children, his son, of course. Yeah.
you know, this, yes, from the frequency that you say it, I've already seen it.
Right.
So thank you for that. And if we say that the blood is the equals the dense part to what the water is, the moya, the maiha.
Okay.
Maiha, like maiha, like the Mayas. That's the original word for the Mayas, maiha,
Okay.
which is water. People from the origin of the water. So yes, they were playing like the dense and the subtle.
Right.
And through the smoke, which is brilliant. And to that, I would also add that the way that I have seen in the glyphs that I hadn't seen before, and you notice, because I shared this with you, that ever since we started sharing some things and like ordering some things, all these intimate connection in a very simple form awoke
Right.
with the Mayans.
Right.
And so the glyphs, receiving them, I can even see how, for instance, Kinich Chambalam he was in a space, like,
right.
And his assistant, the priest, would be on another space.
Okay.
They wouldn't be sharing the same space. You can see the clear classification while he is connecting with what they call the leaves cross, la cruz foliada.
Foliated cross. Yes.
Foliated cross. Thank you.
Right.
So then again, if you multiply by 4 that foliated cross, you get another pattern, like with the tree of life, like everything. And for me, those are gateways, portals, whether if it was in ceremony and whether if it was also in a literal form, who knows? I won't, from this omnivision, I won't state it like it is, I'm open to both. Sure. And I believe that lineage, as you were mentioning, that Pleiadian beings coming, there was definitely a sharing.
Yeah.
You smell it. I smell it.
Right.
Yeah, I remember. And I can definitely remember everything with that. Well, that is related to Egypt, to my memories, and more I am remembering about the Mayans.
Of course, I think this journey you're leading 5 other people on is really, it's going to open portals inside yourself as well. It's like what you're describing to me, the carvings that are on the temple of the foliated cross and the temple of the sun and the temple of the jaguar, all in Lak'esh. They were describing events that took place, but they are also a portal themselves to sit and to just see this carving of this king from 1300 years ago who was going through this psychedelic and spiritual transformation. Just to observe that is going to open up a similar portal in the person who is receptive enough. Like most tourists will go, oh, cool, and take a picture and just move. But that's not what they're meant for. They're a teaching in itself, to sit there and to just receive. And it might take 8 hours of sitting and receiving. But I think that's what they were for.
For instance, what do you relate to the foliated cross to? What do you relate it to?
Well, it's definitely bringing together the 4 directions and connecting them right in your heart. So it's the earth plane and then the spirit plane. And I really see it as a heart connection, like saying that the center of the universe is your heart. Now, this is my interpretation. I don't think the Maya said this, but the other aspect of it, the carving itself and the pictures of it are so beautiful. They're so ornately carved and so elegant, and there's so much symbolism in it that it's impossible for me to sum it up briefly. But like I said, I think it enjoins everything that exists right here. That's the basic feeling I get from it. How about you?
Thank you. I see it as well that way, and this is what I love. One of the aspects I love about Omnivision, that I see myself in your words, in your perception of that. And while you were mentioning this, I was tuning into, for instance, right now when you mentioned the psilocybin, the mushrooms.
Yeah.
And I was talking about this yesterday with some people I got to know that are in this consciousness journey, and they were sharing some of their experiences. And I was saying, for me, this like the mushrooms, ayahuasca, all these plants, the sacred plants, hold the codes for a very pristine DNA that enable those portals in order to connect, go, bringing the information and all of that. And this is currently happening as well. And I was tuning into, I was remembering about when one of my dearest friends, a really renowned scientist, was sharing me that when he was coming, when he was going to come to Mexico, one of the times that he has been in research, he was invited by some people that are in the jungle, living in the jungle, and that they knew where there is a ship, and they were going to take him there. But then they said, "But wait a second, because somebody came here and something happened to that person, like he got sick because of them. But and like it went into another story. But the thing is that more and more it's known about these ships coming and going. That this
Right.
has always been for me. The
Mhm.
ships come from the mountains, from inner the mountains,
Okay.
inside the mountains, and then ascend. Well, then they come, not ascend. They actually come from the nucleus, goes out through the mountain, and then transit in the sky.
Okay.
Uh, and it's very connected to the what the Mayans would say about the primordial mountains.
Oh,
You
okay.
know,
I don't know.
uh, they have a very similar um, conception of how life began,
Okay.
and they would relate it to the primordial mountain. In this case, it would be pretty related to the turtle mother mountain.
Okay.
What I was telling you about Akhenaten,
Right.
and then and also about the bird singing the primordial sound,
Hmm.
which is the bird Muan,
Mulan.
and for the Mayan and for the Egyptian would be the Bemben.
Oh, okay.
So the Muan, I was also finding that the Muan, I also found that the Muan could also be related to Ophiuchus. Why? Because the Muan is kind of a blackbird and well, and a specific bird.
Sure.
But the thing is that some people consider it to the like with the phoenix
Right.
and then the peacock. And the peacock is in transit to the zodiac sign of Ophiuchus. But anyway, that's another story. I know. I'm really sharing that. I'm sorry.
Well,
I get
um,
excited. I told you I'm very passionate. That I get very
right. This could end up being a 5-hour Zoom here.
I
Um,
know.
your story about the scientist reminded me that you have the exact same Mayan birthday as Nassim Haramein. And I see you wearing his necklace there. Is that correct? Yeah?
Yes.
Right. And you and he have had many communications.
Yes. Yes.
Well, I think
Yes.
it's absolutely fascinating that you two have the exact same Mayan birthday. So,
I know when I told him, he was like, really? Well, no, it didn't surprise him,
right.
actually. Yes,
Yeah.
no. Yes, it was something very beautiful, and I quite appreciate that because that makes a lot of sense.
Well, that's
That makes
why I tell people who their same Mayan birthday mirrors are. I think it's useful, and then, I tell them for their guides too, and for you, moving from your divine feminine across to your divine masculine. Your divine masculine guide is Kinishkana Bakal, the king of Palenque, which is, that's again 1 out of 260 chance, right? It's there's only one day on here that's his Mayan birthday, and it happens to be your divine masculine guide. So, what I was going to say earlier about the fire in both your feminine and masculine, the the masculine face or the outer public expression of yourself is how people see you all the time. So a lot of people will relate to you as though you were Pakao. They won't see the rest of this that we're talking about because you're out there, you've got the fire, you've got the energy. I believe you are fearless, you are a leader, you have this the hunter connection, the ancestors. It's all right in your public persona, which is your divine masculine guide as well. Now, the tone 8 for the Maya is the most common day for all ceremony, for all ritual, public ritual. They could have a ceremony on any day on here, but tone 8 days they love to have public ceremony. So you've got the glyph of Pakal, which is also it's Knish Ahau, the sun god, the solar chief, as I call it, to allow for both genders. But for some women who this is their core self, I tell them you are a sun goddess. So there's this ceremonial aspect to your outer self, your public persona, that's always going to be there. You are made to lead ceremony publicly. So I think it's cool. And then the phrases I came up with are ascension ritual, authentic negotiator, and a tranquil leader. There's a lot of tranquility and calmness and harmony, actually, with tone 8. And Pakal, he brought peace. He himself was a warrior. His father was killed in battle. He and his mother had to leave Lakamha, fleeing refugees, for years and years. And then they returned, and he was made king eventually. And he went into battle and he killed people in order to bring peace. He was a peace bringer. He brought peace. He brought stability. But there was war initially, absolutely. But I feel there was this tranquility with it. It was put aside the ego. It's okay. I know I have to go in and do this battle, and because of the eventual peace that will come. So hopefully we are getting past that ourselves as a race, as a humanity. Hopefully we are moving past the need for any kind of battle. I hope. I think we are. And that's partly where the ascension ritual for me, I believe ascension to be part of the evolution of humanity, part of what we are here for, like I said before, is to transcend the ego. The ego is this illusion of separation. And exactly. Once we get past that, why would we go kill other people in another country or our neighbor or anyone? So I feel we're moving past the whole propensity to engage in war.
Yes, for me it's quite connected to the survival instinct.
Sure.
Because you will only attack when you feel that your life is compromised.
Absolutely.
And this cannot be, this doesn't go only connected to a literal form. It can also be related to a program or power energy, and this is pretty related to time because, for instance, if there is a lack of synchronicity within the reality and the body, automatically it's generating not even an idea or an illusion, yet it is conceiving separation.
Sure.
So your biology is surviving in order to adapt to the reality instead of thriving in order to just harmonize.
Right.
So once this is how I believe and how I experience it. Once it is even though at this moment we are, at some moment, the system is running through a linear system of time, the fact of acknowledging and doing the necessary, as you do with the Mayan Solkin, like recognizing and assuming, and what I am doing through the T444, which is torsioning precisely
Yeah.
those beliefs, then that automatic, that inertia is being transcended, and our body is the axis is not going anymore outside,
Right.
yet it is being recognized within. And then there is no need of survival,
Right.
because you're in resonance.
Yes.
And so, yes,
So let me ask you, do you believe in the evolution of DNA? Do you believe our physical DNA is changing or ascending?
definitely,
Okay.
because everything evolves,
Sure.
and even though the human race hasn't shown any evolution, like
DNA.
for many years, hundreds and thousands of years, like DNA, it's about unfolding into its full potential. It has
Right.
always been there,
Right.
and it has always been that way. The thing is that it wasn't active, fully active. Why? Because there was no consciousness about it. There was not a state of awareness about it. And for instance, how the synergic theory says, as
Okay.
I agree, it says that anything exists until you recognize its existence. So once we recognize a full potential, because we can even see it, as I was telling you, the Kabbalah shows to you the tree of life.
Right.
And you see it and you say, okay, that's the wholeness. That's what it is.
Right.
That's everything that there is to it.
Right.
But what if you multiply that tree of life 4 times in the 4 directions?
Okay. Wow.
Then
Yeah.
you get the particle of light in the center. You get the Templar cross in the
Okay.
center. And
Right.
then you say, of course, the information was given by ourselves to ourselves
Okay.
in 1/4. We
Right.
came here to complete the 4/4
Wow.
in order to direct and fulfill the cube in a bidimensional field, and then the bridge, and so forth. So
Right.
in order to reach the 5th dimension.
Right.
So um, so yes, for me, the DNA is just fully activating,
Right.
and it's a code quite related to the 3 pyramids
Okay. In
of,
in Egypt, the Orion.
yes,
Okay.
yes, because if you see the pyramids, there are X's,
Yes.
and then we have 3 X's.
Okay.
And then if we don't say pyramids, if we say squares, we
Yeah.
have 12.
Right.
12 edges to each one,
Right.
and 8 as well. I would have to show to you.
There's a
In
lot of
the end,
math.
it's a lot, but in the end, if we say that Orion is the portal
Okay.
and the way of accessing and exiting, and the way to exit, then that constitution, that pattern is embedded in ourselves, because Orion is the blueprint of the human hologram, as each one of the constellations, as each one of the Tzolk'in glyphs.
Right.
And so yes, like in the brain, there is just 1% activated,
Right.
and as like in the brain, for me, it's in the DNA,
Sure.
and the information, the Mayans, there had been 3 as well as in the cataclysms,
Yes.
also in the updates, like reincarnation.
Right.
Exactly. So for me, the Mayans were the last ones to anchor and embed and encrypt the information of the new update in the DNA.
Wow.
Yes.
So do
And
you
it was it's very related to the time.
right, right. And do you feel the 12 strand DNA, is that truth to that? To me, like we've been talking about 12 and the fours and the cube, and there does seem to be a certain wisdom or truth to it. Does the 12 strand DNA mean anything to you?
Yes, definitely, because if we see the particle of light across, it has 12 edges.
Okay.
So if we are a particle of light ourselves, but well, not a particle, but like,
Sure. But yes, we are absolutely.
so let's say that we only, most of the humans just have activated two
Sure.
edges.
Right.
Therefore, the crucifixion, the idea of crucifixion, it's quite a reality
Okay.
because the particle of light is not moving, even it is.
Right.
Then again, it's just a perception, but it's at its face. So once the 12 edges of the particle of light
Yeah.
ignite, then the whole particle of light fully activates into a luminescence state into the 13, which is the unity, the center of the particle of light.
And the center of the cube. It's the 12 corners, and the center is the 13.
Exactly.
Exciting. Makes the hair on my arm stand up.
Yes.
It's good to be alive at this time.
Yes. It is. I love it.
Mm-hmm. I feel that. I love it. Talk. Oh my goodness. Go on and on and on.
Yes.
So, is
Yes.
there anything else about your divine masculine guide? How does the phrase tranquil leader sit with you?
It's it blends perfectly.
To me,
It
that one
blends.
came up, and I just thought, oh, of course. Like next month, you're leading a group of people on tour of many Mayan pyramids. And I was thinking, okay, let's say something bad happens, right? Like someone loses their luggage or whatever. I was thinking, is Yssah going to like freak out and yell and scream at the guy in the hotel? No, she's going to handle things calmly, like, a tranquil leader. It just seems so obvious. So, and then that comes from, again, trust. It comes from knowing everything's perfect. And, now that Pakal is in you, it's who you are as your divine masculine guide. I feel like nothing is going to knock you off your path. That's what I.
Thank you. There is a moment I want to share with you. The last time that no, not the last time. The first time I was at Lakamha, I
Yes.
was at the Temple of the Sun, at the Sun Temple, and I was chanting.
Right.
I was chanting, and I could feel the presence of a man behind me.
Ah.
And I would keep singing. And at some moment, that presence come closer to me,
Right.
look at my eyes, and told me
Mm.
with such a sweet voice,
Oh.
it's enough, please. And then I said, of course, thank you. Because my feminine tends to go exactly.
Top
And
of
I was
your
there.
head. Listen to me sing. Wow. Oh my
Because
goodness.
it wasn't like I was 1 minute and then he came. No, I
Right.
was for a while.
Okay.
And with all his sweetness, he came, looked into my eyes and told me, it's enough, please. And I was like,
Yes, Father.
yes,
Oh,
I told him, thank you. Thank you very much. And he smiled at me and
wow.
I asked him, what's your name? And he
Mhm.
told me. And then I told him, my name is Yssah. And then he told me, thank you, Yssah. And
Right.
then when I was just feeling love, full love,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know? And when I went out of the site, I was the last one remaining.
End
And
of the
nobody told me anything, you know?
yeah.
I was like walking there with my friends and my daughter.
Okay.
And the guide, I met him again, the guide, I met
Yeah.
him again in the exit or in the entrance, and he looked at me and he told me, welcome back, Yssah.
Oh, lovely.
Yes,
Beautiful.
yes.
I had a slightly different experience at Lak'esh. I was kicked out. I did a ceremony there um, on December 21st, 1999. So it was 13 years to the day before the end of the long count.
Uh-huh.
I was at the base of the Temple of Inscriptions, and there's a small altar there. There's a stone altar. And I set up a little altar like this, my portable altar, and I lit a candle and I started chanting, and the guards just came up and said, "Get out of here." Quite funny because actually that day, my girlfriend and we were in Mexico for about 7 months. We were in Teotihuacan for fall equinox and traveled all over. And that day, we snuck in to Lak'esh. We didn't pay to go in on the solstice. And they kicked us out, and we went through that entrance exit there, and they had a giant nativity scene, like Jesus in the little the whole nativity scene with the three wise men and Joseph and sheep and a cradle and Mary. And I was like, what the fuck is this? You know, do you know where you are? It was so hilarious. I was so outraged, and I was so glad that I didn't see that before I went in there. That was hilarious. Um,
Wow. Like when you say all of this, I mean from the human
yeah,
part, it's like, like of course, it's like
yeah. Like it
right.
was
And
full size. Like the Joseph was my size. Like it was human size nativity scene. It wasn't like one you can buy at a store and bring home. Could have been real sheep for all I know. I didn't check. Oh my, so fun.
this is when I say like there is a short circuit
Yeah,
in the matrix, like
yeah, yeah,
the informational fields blend, and you
yeah.
say like, what are you doing here? Like, what are you
This is not right. Yeah, I wanted to set fire to the whole thing, but I was already in trouble at that point. So
you want to do you wanted to do the ceremony with that,
right
like
there,
what
yeah.
is this? So now I know what
Yeah. Oh boy. Oh, interesting. Good times.
Yes. Yes, indeed. Indeed.
And so are you taking your clients to Lakamha?
Yes.
What other
Yes.
pyramids?
We are going to Lakamha. We're going to Bonampak,
Mm,
to Yaxchilan,
Shilan.
Tonina,
Ah,
Tulum,
Bloom.
Uxmal,
Wow. Lovely, lovely, lovely.
Chichen Itza,
Chichen Itza, of course. Yeah. Yeah.
and Calixtlahuaca.
Ooh, I don't even know Kalisla Waja. So
Uh,
9 sites. In how many days?
the journey starts on the 10th and it officially finishes on the 21st. So 11 days.
Right.
And I say officially because some of us will go on the 22nd to Tula.
Oh, Tulan. Wonderful.
Yes,
Amazing.
yes. No, we will keep on organizing. Actually, we are organizing one,
Good.
Isaac and I, on February to Egypt.
Okay. Wonderful.
Yes, and then I more many more to come. So
Yeah.
Mexico will be in the field again because
You two are anchoring this Mexican Egyptian energy. Wow. Oh my goodness.
yes, yes, and as it is unified cosmology, we are opening up also to later Peru
Sure.
and Greece. Greece has been coming a lot lately.
Really?
Yes, yes,
Amazing.
and also uh all the Druid
Oh,
lineage,
yes. Yeah.
which I know that you're also connected to. I feel it. I feel
Yeah,
it.
I definitely have like genetically that's my roots, but also spiritually, I've been very connected to the earth and the moon and celebrating them, the solstice, the equinox, the full moons. It's been part of my life for 30 years.
Yes, yes, yes. And we are also coming here to San Cristobal. Now that you mentioned the equinox and all of that,
Yes.
and yes, I we are coming to San Cristobal for 2 nights, one day, but
Also an
to
eclipse in that time, is that right?
Tonina. We will be by Tonina, at Tonina by the cliffs.
Right. Wow. Fantastic.
And for instance, Freddie Silva was asking why not in a place that we would be watching at the cliffs.
Oh, okay.
But then again, for me, Tonina, it's a very important point that has very little been discovered because it has the frieze of the four eras and the nine lords,
Right.
and it has the head of Hunapu and Ishbalanque,
Wow.
which for me is the origin, and there is the place where the last long count was found.
Right. The inscription, the last long count date. Yeah.
Exactly, exactly.
In around the
So
year 900. Do you,
about the year what?
about the year 900, I believe. Is that correct?
I,
Around that.
I don't know, but thank you for saying that. I will check on that because I will, and
Freddie would know.
he didn't.
Oh, really? Okay. Good.
Yes.
Haha.
Well, he
Tell
yes.
him something.
At least, I mean, I'm not sure about that, but when I
Right.
mentioned that, he didn't mention anything. So I don't know. Yes. And 900. Okay.
I think at around
So,
that time. Yeah.
okay.
That was the end
And
of the classic period.
Okay. Okay. It's very interesting that that's where the last long count recorded is, because for me there is much more to that. Because also there it's connected to two more things. One, uh the um, the jaguar bird god,
Yes.
and there is a prophecy to the jaguar bird, because there was, for instance, in Yaxchilan, the place for the prophecies, they there was a statue of a jaguar bird god, and
Right.
it was decapitated. And
Right.
people from the area said that when the head goes back to the body,
Hmm.
the jaguars will come
Turn.
and they will finish with the human race. But you know how it is. It's not a literal, it is.
For sure.
Yes, and why I say it's related to Tonina, because in Tonina, the pyramid, the biggest pyramid, the measurements
Right.
were are showing a correlation with the male's, not a female's, a male's body, from the tip of its fingers all the way to the heart. The
Okay.
distance, the distance is 88 centimeters,
Okay.
and it's the height of the pyramid, about so.
Right.
So it's related to that measurement.
Wow.
And if you say, because there is a deep code with the head
Right.
of the Chacmol, which is related to the head of California,
Oh,
of the regional Mexico
interesting.
Republic, like the Mexico,
Ah,
before the president
yeah.
sold part of the land to the United States,
Right.
it was the head of the
Ah.
Chacmol.
Ooh, okay. I see that. I've got him over here too. I like to keep him. So that's California.
Exactly that area, that area.
Oh, boy. That's oh my goodness.
Uh, so
Ah. Okay, after this Zoom, I'm gonna make a map and put Chacmol on it. And all right,
yes,
cool.
and you know that when the natives do that pilgrimage
Right.
from the north all the way to down American continent, to South America, all the way to South America, they call it the condor
Yes.
and the
Yeah.
hmm?
I know there's a myth of the eagle and the condor, but I believe there's also the eagle, the quetzal, and the condor. The quetzal is like the Maya of Guatemala joining the eagle and the condor. So there's a lot going on there.
It's a lot. Yes, there's a lot. But uh, bottom line, for me, Tonina
Right.
represents the beat of the heart. The pyramid
Sure.
is aligned.
Yeah.
The pyramid's on the top, so it can represent the head, and it's beat. It's the beat of the heart.
Right.
And so the eclipse, what the eclipse represents,
Yes.
it's the fusion of, or the yes, the fusion of the sun
Yeah.
and the moon.
Yeah. Yeah.
We know what this represents also, the feminine and the masculine aspect.
Yeah.
So the
Beautiful.
head and the heart. So
I think
yes,
it's perfect that you guys are there on that day. Whether or not you can see the eclipse, it's you'll all be feeling it most definitely. That's fantastic.
yes, yes, yes. Thank you. Thank you. And you will be there, even though not physically, you will be there.
Very much. Oh yeah.
Yes, 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 indeed.
So
Indeed.
now let's move from your masculine back across to your feminine side. and your future vision guide, which again, we were just talking about the jaguar. And there she is for you. Patient, which is interesting. Tone 9 is, I think the best translation for it is patient. But the energy is really about this persistence and this resilience, and it's not just sitting back and waiting at all. It's being patient with this current level of exertion that needs to be continued. It's never giving up. 9 for the Maya represents the moon, and the gestation period being 9 months. And it's also the whole Tzolk'in, because there's always 9 lunar cycles in the Tzolk'in. 9 times 29 is 261. So it's approximate, it's not precise. And that's one of the cool things I love about the moon is you can't fit it in a box. You can't make a calendar exactly the number of days of the moon. Like, it can't. It won't work. So give up, guys. Go with the flow. And then, of course, the jaguar shaman is, I would say, equally tied for the most feminine glyph. The other glyph of the 20 that's equally as feminine is the 19th glyph, Kawak. It is the divine feminine. It's nurturance, it's the family, it's the community. But the jaguar shaman, very, very feminine energy, Mother Nature, healing, of course. The shaman is the healer. And it's such a soft but intense energy. You know what I mean? They're quiet jaguars, but they can go kill an alligator. You know what I mean? Like, they're so intense. And so the phrases I came up with for you here: sacred feminine healing, resilient secret keeper, and divination through the moon. So those to me feel like something that's pulling you towards your future. Now, the Maya, for the Maya, there's a ceremony when a person turns 52, and it's actually 13 days before your 52nd birthday, will be Hun Kimi. So 13 days before you turn 52 is your Mayan birthday again. And on that day, there's a major, you could call it coming of age ceremony, but it's becoming a whole being, a whole adult. And I believe that starts to happen when you're 42. So I think there's a 10-year period. Did you know that when you turn 42, it's your Mayan birthday? It's on the same. It's on the same day. For 75% of people, 25% of people born in a leap year, where there's that one extra day, the day before they turn 42 will be their Mayan birthday. But for 75% of people, the day you turn 42 is your Mayan birthday. So I feel that day you become an adult, and then when you turn 52, you become a whole being. And the Maya say that, some of the Maya say that when you turn 52, it's like your future vision guide becomes who you really are. So there are many Ashkish, there are many Mayan calendar shaman who would tell you, you will become Bolon Ish. That's who you will become. I still feel you will always be your core self, which is Hun Kimi. But definitely this future vision guide, it's calling you. That's the energy. Now, I do want to mention one other thing, which I did write in the lengthy document I sent you, I
Yes.
fully encourage all my clients to make their own high vibration phrases. The ones that I make up are just, they come to me and they have a degree of validity for me. But I think for yourself, if you look at all of your key code words from the glyph and the tone, from your Jaguar Shaman and from tone 9, look at them and see what phrases come to you. But I do feel, sacred feminine healing, like, what's more important than that? Not much. It's been pushed down again, that we've been talking about the Catholics for good reason. they tried to destroy divine femininity. They said Mary Magdalene was a prostitute. Like, it's outrageous. And the witch burnings for hundreds and hundreds of years, they murdered women for being natural. So a big part of our journey is this sacred feminine, the divine feminine healing that needs to happen in every one of us.
And even the very negative connotation,
Yes.
and by very negative, because in frequency it is it is a negative, but
Yes.
like in a potential way, but like in a very, then I will use another word, the
Okay.
very limited, but as with a shade of fear connotation that they gave to the moon.
The moon itself, right? Exactly. So people who gathered on the full moon were evil.
Yes,
No
yes.
gatherings on the full moon. Oh yeah,
If your baby was going, if you were going to give birth by the full moon, like, no, stay, stay, wait,
yeah.
wait,
No,
wait,
it
wait,
was a bad omen. But of
wait.
course, my daughter was born on the full moon. It's more births happen on the full moon than any other time. It's natural.
Of course, of
Amazing.
course.
Yeah, the moon.
Yes, and it's very interesting because my divine masculine guide
Yeah.
is pure sun.
Yeah.
And the future vision guide is related to the moon.
Very, very, very much. And the earth too, the garden, the plants, right? Like the Jaguar Shaman is intimately familiar with all of the herbs, all of the plants, how to heal people with herbs, right? That's a huge part of the shaman, is knowing how to heal with plants. So, and I do believe there are certain plants that they can harvest only on a full moon, or that would be the night which the most energy is in the leaves or the flowers of a plant to heal somebody, some of them. So there's a lot of energy there.
Beautiful. Mm. Mm. Resilient Secret Keeper, Jaguar. A few days ago, I was given a message that the the feline, the feline race was given within the acknowledgement to the dragon force within.
Interesting. Wow.
Related to the information kept and guarded.
Yeah.
And the information being guarded, no, from the information being kept,
Right.
and from the information being guarded.
Wow.
Because now it's time to fully, like, it has already been for for a couple of years now being portrayed.
Okay.
However, the fully alignment in between the keeper and the guardian
Okay.
are aligned to the full expansion of the information.
So would you say the dragon is the keeper and the lion is the guardian? Is it the lion or
Yes,
the lion?
yes, because for instance, how I see when it comes to the dragon, it's about the primordial records and keeping the primordial records in spheres.
Okay.
That's why the cartoons about the Dragon Ball, and the
Yeah. Yeah.
spheres and all of that.
Yeah. Got them right here too. And look what they're holding.
Ah.
It's a moonstone and amethyst.
Ah, nice.
Yeah.
Ah. Because you know why spheres? For many reasons, but
Sure.
when a wormhole unites,
Okay.
then it generates a sphere. And this happens all the time in 3D. This is why we are a torus, because you have the two edges of a wormhole coming together,
Right.
then you have the torus. The thing is that, well, that's on one thing. Otherwise, I will go. And the other thing is that all geometrical structures, the more fractalized they are,
Right.
the more spherical they are.
Oh,
So
interesting. Sure, that makes sense.
so then the sphere represents from all the fractals we have been
Right.
and that we are, not
Yeah.
only as a reincarnation, but like in all the timelines that we are, when one become conscious of it, then all those fractals and from all the universes and from, as even I'm saying fractal as a star,
Sure.
all that information, we weave it and we crystallize it in a sphere.
Right.
And then that sphere is holding for all the cubes
Okay.
that is within each atom.
Right.
So then again, there is no cube without a sphere. They all come together.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
The points of the cube touch the inside surface of the sphere. And it was interesting. I believe I was either listening to Robert Grant or
yes,
Nassim or both of them. I know they went to Teotihuacan together, but I think Nassim works with Tauruses in particular, although Robert drew so many of them also. But it was at that time that I just had this realization that the Tzolk'in and the Hunabku are like a torus. So if this was 3D and you were looking at it like that, it would be a torus. And the Hunabku, of course, is also a torus.
yes, yes,
I
yes.
think I sent a document to you, an image that I made to display that. And I think it's this one. Okay, so that's the Tzolk'in in 2D and the energy flowing in. Can you see that?
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
And the center would be an eye, besides
Yes,
that the whole pyramid and
right.
the octahedron. It
Yeah,
would also be an eye and the vesica Pisces.
right. Yes.
But
And then I put the little brain in there just for fun.
nice, of course, of course.
Okay, I think this one has the little bit hard to see, but
Butterfly.
yeah,
I love it.
it's all in there. Me sitting with my computer and amusing myself.
Well, let me tell you that that level of amusement actually gets to reveal a lot of things.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
I was it, me is just like mind-boggling. Very exciting.
Yes. It would be interesting if you multiply, because I've done it, for instance, the Eye of Horus
Yes.
backwards
Yeah.
on the 4 directions.
Okay. Interesting. Okay, right. Mm-hmm. Indeed. Wow.
I will send it to you later, because it's interesting when we overlap it to the how do you call that symbol? Because that's also very interesting information. Like
Which
they
one?
say, some people say it's the Hunapku,
Right.
and some people say that it is related to a very ancient, like not ancient, but old codex, and that
There
it
is a
was the
codex.
Papalotl, the Nahui Papalotl, which is the 4 butterflies.
I believe the very first representation of it was in about 1550, in a codex that was written after the Spanish went to Mexico.
It's below.
Yeah,
It's below.
this is one of them.
So it's there, Maglia.
So the Maglia Becchiano, I believe it's called,
Exactly.
was in there, and a couple of them were. I have them in a folder here. Coup. So the Codex Maglia Becchiano, it's also called the Codex Vaticanus in about 1550. That was the first, or maybe 1580. I'm not quite sure the dates, but here's another one. And I love this one. Okay, that's where I captured that one from. Where's the other one? Okay, this one is amazing because it has a human inside it. That
Yes.
freaks me out. So yeah, I call it the Hunapku. I believe that was more of the Yucatan pronunciation. And I believe it was, even here with all the plants
Del
behind.
Diablo. You see what it says
Oh, I
now?
know they're calling
El
it like
battle del
a
Diablo.
demon or a devil. It's like, how can you possibly say that? But here's Tilmatl
El
Omanta.
matl o manta, nono al caltiopes.
Caltiopes, right. But, yeah, it's interesting. Timatl Tecatl.
Tacatl, oveco.
Obeco.
Oveco del Diablo.
El Diablo. Diablo. I'm like, where do you get the devil in there? I don't see it. Jokers.
Hilarious.
Funny.
Okay. Nice. Hunapku.
Yeah, I love it.
Yes. You know that Ishbalanque was a woman?
Okay, well, I know the prefix ish is very feminine, almost always associated with the feminine. So Ishbalanque, right. Makes sense. Now, what is the myth about her? She was the
twin sister to Hunapku.
Okay, I did not know that. Tell me more.
It's in the Popol Vuh.
Okay.
In the book of creation, they say that they are the 2 twins,
Is it?
Hunapku and Ishbalanque. And
Okay.
then they tell all the stories about them
Right.
and their fights. This is the translation being given, but
Okay.
There are fights to the lords of Xibalba because they want to generate chaos in the
Right.
earth. And then however, look at this. It's like at some point they explain how the Pleiades were created.
Whoa.
And Xibalba is also related, and this Isaac talks about it because
Okay.
that the Xibalba it represents the fusion that happened in between two systems and that created at some point the area of the Pleiades.
Okay.
So, and that's the Stargate, well, not the Stargate, but the entrance to Xibalba. So that's why it says it created the Pleiades. So
Okay. I think I need a better translation. I have the Dennis Tedlock here, and I think it's very good. A lot of
yes.
scholars recommend it, but I think I should get another one or two versions.
Well, I must say I haven't read it,
Right.
and I will, because for me that's I want the accurate one will come. But this I tell you because from the small extracts that I've got to read and to listen to, I was this story about the two twins, which are both males.
Yes.
And then I said, okay. So relating them to the stars, I said, okay, Gemini, maybe it was the era of Gemini, but no, that's way too back,
Yeah.
way too back. So then I said, of course, Cetus, and well, because I don't know if you remember, but they say that at some moment when they transform and they evolve, they die.
Right.
They were killed by the lords of the Xibalba.
Yeah.
And they become into hybrids of fishes, part fish, part. And when you see Cetus, which is the whale in the Dendera zodiac or space-time table, as I said, there are two figures very similar, but representing the feminine and the masculine, and they're holding the fish. So then they become the fish, and then they head all the way to Ophiuchus.
Okay.
So anyway, there you can see the relation exactly. And yes, when I heard, okay, the twins, and then I say, but wait, Ish Balanque? Ish Balanque? Ish Balanque is a woman. So then again, the translation, or not a woman, a feminine. Then again, the translation. So it's beautiful how we come to remember and to.
Well, the mystery deepens and widens and becomes richer and fuller. The deeper you go, the further it gets. Or the further you go, the deeper it gets.
Yes, yes. Yes, it is.
Oh, so do you have any more questions for me about your Mayan embodiment?
No, it would only be no, because you have expressed it all, everything in a very sharp way. So thank you for that.
Okay.
And
it was my pleasure. I hope you've noticed, I have your source code right here.
Yes, yes,
And
yes.
meditating on it. There's so much I want to ask you about it, but maybe not on this Zoom call.
I love it. I love it how it looks. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And you put it next to a scepter. So, right?
Here?
Yes.
Yes, this is my shaman staff. There's this long story that goes with that.
Great. Great. You put it in the right place.
All right. Excellent.
No surprise. Yes. And next to the DNA. So amazing.
Yeah, as soon as I came into this office, I just moved into this house a little while ago, and the first thing I did was make this office sacred space.
You know, there are some patterns that are coming to me.
Yeah.
Just I will send to you the images because it's coming right clearly regarding to the DNA and the directions you read, my Mayan embodiment chart, it's the same order that in the Enoch's information, like in the Enoch book or the keys to Enoch,
Okay.
the way that they read the four edges of the DNA, like 111,
Okay.
222, 333, and 444.
Interesting.
Yes, and it's related to the DNA. So
Right. Wow. Fascinating.
yeah, and just no, it's all. It's
Well, I'm really
yes,
looking forward to meeting Isaac next week.
yes,
It's
yes.
fascinating that he is your past wisdom guide and you are his future vision guide.
Yes, I know. Yes.
Fantastic.
I already told him that it will be nice that to because uh well, he was very surprised as I was. You
Right.
know, we were like, wow, you know, and also about the tone, right? We are both tone 4. Ah, that's a
Well, you
question.
make a tone 4. He's a 3. You're a 1. So together you make a 4, which happens
Okay.
to be the fourth day and fourth tone. So it's Een 4 and the fourth glyph, fourth tone. So 444. And
Yeah.
what's the name of the theory you're working on?
444.
Who makes this stuff up? It's fantastic. There's the hair.
Yes.
I need to go for a run now.
Thank you. But before you go on to run, just what's the 4? What's the 4 related to?
Well, the 4, like I was saying with the Temple of the Foliated Cross and that
Mm.
foliated cross, it's the 4 directions extending out to infinity. It's the 4 pillars that hold up the sky, the universe, right? It's the 4 seasons, the 4 colors of the Mayan calendar. It's the 4 bodies, the physical body, the spiritual, the emotional, the mental. In a way, it's wholeness, it's completeness, it's everything, right?
Yes.
And then you can micro go back down to the seed, the 4th glyph, right? And so the seed is so powerful, right? It's like we are all the seed of the dream of the mind of God-sciousness becoming and flowering and sprouting, and we're spreading information. The seed contains all the information for everything that needs to come forever after. It's such a metaphor. A lot going on.
Wow.
So that's the combination of the two of you. 444.
Wow. Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you.
My wife and I also make a seed, but we make a 12 seed, which is the cube. So very similar to you two,
Wow. Very interesting.
isn't it?
Yes. And the synchronicities keep
I'm
unfolding.
blue and she's red. I'm an eagle and she's the red offering, and together we make a seed, which is the fire, and the yeah, So it's cool. And that's the amazing thing about all white people. They all combine with other white people to make a yellow individual. So, and all reds combine with all blue. Any red glyph and any blue glyph combine to make a yellow glyph. So
Wow.
you've got emotion and the earth, and it comes together to make fire. It's very, very cool.
It is. I
Yeah.
will check out the numbers on the frequency,
Yeah, yeah.
on
I'm
the
sure you
frequency,
will.
like the hertz. Yes, yes. Yes, I will. And I will send it to you when I have it because I'm pretty sure that it will lead to something interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, yes. Thank you. I could keep on sharing, but I know that we have extended, so we can keep on sharing on another.
We will. Yeah. No.
Yes. And we will meet physically eventually. We will.
Yes, I'm looking forward to that.
Oh, me too. Me too. Yes.
So for now, let's
Okay.
close out the ceremony. We are finished with our
Hmm.
Mayan embodiment connection today. We're thanking all of the ancestors and all of the Mayan deities we invoked previously, and all of the new creations that were birthed through this enjoyment. Do you have anyone you would like to add?
All the beings and all the energy present fulfilling this space through their void, through their silence. Thank you.
All right. Een Lak'esh, Namaste.
Namaste. Een Lak'esh Alakin. Ometeotl. Uno. Thank you.
Well, I certainly hope you enjoyed that as much as Yssah and I did. This was a perfect example of a Zoom session I do with all my clients after I prepare their 20-page document explaining everything. And of course, there's always questions, and I love to clear them up just like I did today. So if you are interested, please reach out, and I know I can help you greatly. Mayan embodiment is soul cartography. Een Lak'esh Alakin. Namaste.